A Utah family clings to hope after this man disappeared while hiking in Colorado.
If anyone can make it, it'd be him.
The clues that have been found as the days add up.
Lands closed during the Jacob City fire are now back open. Coming up, I'll show you where the damage is and the areas you should avoid.
Tracking strong storms across southern Utah, where we have flooding concerns coming up.
Earlier this year, someone asked us to investigate why they have 14 sex offenders all living under the same roof in their neighborhood.
Honestly, what the state is doing is it's setting these folks up for failure.
And there's kids walking around, and I don't like it.
Tonight, we ask, is the state doing enough to keep the public safe?
As the monkeypox virus spreads, Salt Lake County hits a snag with the vaccine rollout. We'll show you why.
Live from Utah's news leader, Fox 13 News at 9 starts right now.
A Salt Lake City man is missing in the Colorado wilderness tonight. He was last seen at a trailhead just south of Silverton, that's in southwestern Colorado. He was last seen a week and a half ago.
Fox 13 News anchor Brian Schnee spoke to that man's family tonight as they continue to hope and pray for a positive outcome.
It's hard. It's, nobody wants to have to go through this ever. That area is so rough, and it's vast. I mean, there's hundreds of trails that he could have gone on, and we ran across so many different people, and we're just asking people if they'd seen him, and just not a lot of luck.
As days go by, a Utah family is hoping for good news. But search and rescue crews have already put in more than 800 hours looking for Daniel Lamthach, an experienced hiker who went missing in the rugged wilderness south of Silverton, Colorado. The 22-year-old from Salt Lake City was last seen nearly 10 days ago, where he planned a trail run after being out there with friends on a trip. The following day, on July 18th, his cell phone was found by hikers. On the 21st, he was reported missing and search and rescue operations began. Days later, the operation continued with ground crews, helicopters, and fixed-wing aircraft using infrared sensors to detect heat as more and more people continue to join the search in unforgiving backcountry.
Whether Daniel's found or not, whatever the outcome is, we appreciate everybody that's really given us a hand and been there for us.
Daniel's family started to worry about a week ago when his car was found.
I mean, if anyone can make it, it'd be him, but he needs us.
They went out and searched the area themselves, but no sign of Daniel.
The only thing that we care about is trying to get him home. We know he wanted to be home. We know, people have talked to him and stuff, and they've said, he meant to come home.
Colin describes his younger brother as motivated, smart, and just a good person. Severe weather hampered search operations on Wednesday, but will resume with crews planning to access some more remote areas to try and bring Daniel home.
He's somebody you should get to know. Yeah, you should get to know him. It's worth it.
In Salt Lake City, Brian Schnee, Fox 13 News, Utah.
The family plans to head back out to the area tomorrow to backpack and continue their search.
They are encouraging anyone who would like to help with the search to do so, but to make sure they have the right equipment.
Lands scorched by the Jacob City fire are now back open to the public. But residents say the fire damage makes the area look like a different planet.
The police chief tells Fox 13 News reporter Emily Tenser it will take years for them to recover.
This is our backyard. This is where we come and play and hang out and take our kids and go on picnics, and it'll never be the same.
Thousands of acres in Soldier Canyon are scorched and beyond recognition. The site is a lot for people to take in as they return for the first time since the Jacob City fire.
My memories, it's like this whole canyon, the memories all just burnt down.
There's a lot of history in this canyon for a lot of residents of Stockton and the Rush Valley area in general. And a lot of that history is now gone.
Stockton Police Chief Travis Romney says it cost around $6.5 million to fight the fire. Thankfully, the flames missed the town's water filtration plant and well.
We're still waiting some test results from the state of Utah to let us know that the water coming down the canyon is free of contaminants.
Right now, Stockton is running off its emergency well using a generator provided by Tooele County Emergency Management. Now, look over here. Notice how lucky they got. The fire skipped over these 2 propane tanks.
The Bureau of Land Management is warning visitors to use caution and stay on designated routes and avoid the head of Soldier Canyon for now.
You're going to have four-wheeling trails that are off limits now because there's no brush to hold back the soil and people will slip and fall.
Abby Wintle says it's already too quiet.
It's heartbreaking. It's devastating. This is my escape, and it was beautiful.
And it's not over yet. High temperatures mean a higher risk for more fires in the future. And now with this burn scar, flash floods are a new concern to add to their worries.
We're at that point where basically Mother Nature can do anything she wants to us. So hopefully we can make it through this without any big damage.
Reporting in Stockton, Emily Tenser, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Scientists at the University of Utah are seeing some troubling wildfire trends as they study massive fires in the West over the past decade. In a new study published in Scientific Reports, plumes of smoke from western wildfires in recent years have been growing taller. And with more smoke and aerosols high in the atmosphere, they can spread farther, impacting air quality over a wider area.
Our suspicion is strongly that these are climate-driven trends, and so, nothing that we do right now is going to have a super quick impact to sort of slow these increasing plume tops. But limiting human ignitions of fires would definitely be helpful.
They say enhanced wildfire activity in the West will likely correspond with air quality continuing to worsen locally and across the country.
Today, Utah Governor Spencer Cox's office released an action plan related to water and agriculture, the biggest user of water in the state.
We recognize that 75% of the diverted water goes to agriculture, so it's a really important piece to the puzzle in trying to optimize agriculture as one place.
Agriculture optimization is viewed as critical to addressing shortages. That's using new technology to efficiently irrigate crops and, of course, save water. But it will cost as much as $6 billion to fully implement. The plan also calls for leaning on laws that the legislature passed, like in-stream flows, water banking, and water quality programs. Environmental groups tell Fox 13 News not all of these are bad ideas, but they want more specifics.
My goodness, southern Utah is seeing more flash flooding again tonight. This is rainfall north of Coral Pink Sand Dunes State Park in Kane County. And I'll tell you what, Allison, when it rains, it really does pour.
Yes, we've seen some flash flooding concerns across southern Utah this afternoon. Tomorrow, we still continue with that flash flooding concern, and right now we still have some thunderstorms. Hanksville down through about Boulder, east side of Capitol Reef. Our flash flood warnings were allowed to expire. We through Washington County still have a few rain showers near the Arizona border just east of I-15 from Hurricane down through northern Arizona. And then as we look up towards that Hanksville system, all south of I-70, quite a bit of lightning with that. Central and northern Utah, we have mostly clear sky, and we're going to continue with hot temperatures again tomorrow. But when you wake up Thursday morning, it'll be around 65 to 75 for Provo, Salt Lake, Ogden. For St. George near 80 tomorrow morning. Then tomorrow afternoon, another active day here across the state with some more chances for showers and thunderstorms. Coming up later in the hour, we'll look at our air quality over the next couple of days as we'll continue with some haze. Plus that chance for some flash flooding tomorrow. I'll let you know where.
For the first time since her husband was accused of threatening her political opponent, Bluffdale held a city council meeting tonight, and Mayor Natalie Hall was there.
Public comment was allowed. Take a listen.
I am speaking to address the changes that were filed against Jason Hall and the need for our mayor to resign from her position in the city.
How can you run a city if you don't even know what's going on in your own home?
If you claim to be an integritous person, then you need to step down. The end.
Mayor Hall spoke out in defense of her husband earlier this month. Jason Hall is facing multiple counts related to assault, harassment, threats, and stalking of City Councilman Jeff Gaston during the 2021 mayoral election.
I hope some of you can put yourself in my position, because I have already made a statement that my husband never made any death threats. There's a lot of information that has not yet been made available, and so I will continue to do the job I was elected to do.
Mayor Hall continued to say she believes in the justice system and that everyone must now be patient with the process.
We now know the name of the man arrested on a Virgin Atlantic flight from London to Los Angeles last night. That flight was ordered to divert here and make an emergency landing in Salt Lake City. Police say 39-year-old William Stephen Hayes from the United Kingdom is accused of grabbing a fellow passenger by the throat and trying to hit and bite him all during the flight. Court documents indicate the flight crew and other passengers had to restrain Hayes. He now faces charges of interference with a flight crew and assault. His next court date is August 2nd.
Christian Taele, the man who police say killed 2 people in Utah as part of a, quote, purge, has been formally charged with 2 counts of murder. The 28-year-old from Lake Shore was already facing murder charges for his connection to the hanging of Tyler Belinti in Ogden. Now he's facing murder charges in the death of Ryan Hooley in Spanish Fork earlier this month. Police documents say Taele told officers a, quote, higher power directed him.
Clusters of sex offenders living under the same roof throughout Utah.
If we're aware of areas that are felon-friendly, those may be kind of circulated among people.
Yeah, they should definitely be more careful.
We'll show you why the state says even though it's not allowed, sometimes agents make exceptions to their own rules.
Concerns are growing over the spread of monkeypox, why the health department is putting a pause on vaccine appointments in Salt Lake County.
And Fox 13 News speaks to the family of a Utah contestant on So You Think You Can Dance. What they say about her experience on the show so far in a Fox 13 News exclusive.
In world news tonight, the U.S. has proposed a prisoner exchange with Russia. Today, Secretary of State Antony Blinken outlined the proposal, trading a Russian arms dealer currently serving a 25-year sentence on a terrorism-related conviction for WNBA star Brittany Griner, also another jailed American, Paul Whelan. The proposal was apparently made weeks ago, but today Blinken revealed plans to meet with his Russian counterpart soon to discuss the exchange.
The FDA is clearing the way to distribute and administer hundreds of thousands of additional doses of the monkeypox vaccine in the U.S. An infectious disease expert at Boston University says the outbreak seems to have been fueled by 3 mass gatherings in Europe. The CDC has confirmed more than 4,600 cases of monkeypox in America, more than 24 of which are here in Utah, Kelly.
Bob, here in Utah, we've had 27 confirmed or probable cases, but the Salt Lake County Health Department is having to pause scheduling new monkeypox vaccine appointments. Fox 13 News reporter Jenna Bree shows us what that means for those at risk.
We will get more and it will be available, and we will be able to protect everyone who needs that protection.
The Salt Lake County Health Department has been one of the only places in Utah where you can get a monkeypox vaccine.
I'm not aware of any other counties offering monkeypox vaccine. We were offering vaccine to people throughout the Wasatch Front and back.
Since May, 27 confirmed and probable cases have been reported in Utah, the most by far in Salt Lake County, where the health department has vaccinated approximately 900 people.
It's a great thing that so many eligible people wanted to get vaccinated. We are happy to get the vaccine out quickly so we can protect the community, particularly the community at highest risk.
Right now, only a select group of people are at risk and eligible for monkeypox vaccines. Those who have had close contact with someone who has monkeypox, or men who have sex with men who have had multiple partners in recent weeks.
Monkeypox is not spread through casual, informal contact. You can't catch monkeypox from someone you pass in the grocery store who's not wearing a mask. Monkeypox requires some pretty significant contact. It's primarily transmitted through skin-to-skin contact.
Nicholas Rupp wants to remind people monkeypox is not a sexually transmitted disease, and it's not exclusively affecting the gay community. While it is a serious illness, he says the monkeypox strain going around the U.S. is not deadly, and it's still not something the general public needs to worry about.
Monkeypox is a painful disease. It can be debilitating. It is a serious illness, but it is not something that the general public needs to worry about at this time.
The Salt Lake County Health Department is expecting a shipment of vaccines in the next coming weeks and will announce when doses are available and people can make appointments again. Reporting in Salt Lake City, Jenna Bree, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Well, the U.S. Health and Human Service Department, the secretary today announced the federal government will release 786,000 vaccine doses to local health authorities as soon as possible.
The Federal Reserve raised interest rates by 0.75% today. The unprecedented move is part of the Fed's effort to head off inflation.
We are highly attentive to the risks high inflation poses to both sides of our mandate, and we're strongly committed to returning inflation to our 2% objective.
Typically, the Fed increases inflation by increases the Federal Reserve rate by 0.25% at a time, but the last two increases have both been by 0.75 percentage point, and that marks the first time since 1994 that interest rates have increased at that rate.
Two former Minneapolis police officers charged in George Floyd's death are now headed to federal prison. Today, Tu Tao was sentenced to 3.5 years. In a separate hearing, J. Alexander King was sentenced to 3 years. Both were convicted of violating Floyd's civil rights. King helped his fellow officer Derek Chauvin restrain Floyd, while Tu Tao controlled the crowd of upset bystanders. They both still face a state trial set for late October.
It was another hot day here in Utah. Made it to 101 here in Salt Lake City. It was our 15th time this month, tying a record of 15 days in the triple digits with some more in the forecast. And our 18th time this year, a record being 21 in any given year. A live look right now from the Natural History Museum facing west out towards Antelope Island, the Great Salt Lake. You can see the Walker Center Tower kind of stealing my thunder right now with that blue lighting up the sky. 92 degrees in Salt Lake currently, 94 Ogden. 83 for Provo. Let's go ahead and talk about your surface smoke forecast, but because you've probably noticed the haze out there here across northern Utah, we continue with quite a few fires to our north and to our west and some local fires, so we'll have a little bit of haze tomorrow here across especially central and northern Utah. And for tonight, right now, tracking thunderstorms near Capitol Reef and into Washington County. What's left of some very strong thunderstorms from earlier this evening brings the bulk of our rain right now south of I-15 between the Arizona border and up towards Hurricane. So just mainly some lighter rain currently and quite a bit of lightning towards the Capitol Reef and Hanksville areas. Through tomorrow night, our flood watch has been extended. It was supposed to expire at midnight tonight, but it has been extended through tomorrow night. This includes all of southern Utah and southeastern Utah. Into tomorrow morning, temperatures around 75 to 85 here along the Wasatch Front. As you wake up into the late morning, we're going to be into that mid-80s late morning, but 60s and 70s for overnight lows, and then we are back into the mid-80s by 10 a.m. Air quality tomorrow, orange, unhealthy for sensitive groups, with our UV index very high, mid-90s tomorrow afternoon. So wind tomorrow, a little breezy at times, about 15 to 20 miles per hour. We'll have those daytime temperatures around 90 to 100 for the Wasatch Front, with additional chances for some showers and thunderstorms. Let's go ahead and break that down for you. St. George, scattered storms are possible tomorrow. After that, you're looking at widely scattered storms through much of your 7-day forecast. For Ogden, your chance of precipitation over the next week, take a look at your screen. It's pretty low. Isolated Thursday, Friday, and then again some better chances into earlier next week, especially by Tuesday. For Provo, you're looking at isolated storm chances Thursday, widely scattered Friday, isolated Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week. And for St. George, you've got a chance for some rain through much of your 7-day forecast with temperatures around 95 to 100 degrees. So a little bit of a break from that extreme heat, at least the 112 that we were talking about a few weeks ago. But tomorrow, mid-90s still very hot. For the Wasatch Front tomorrow, 100 degrees, hot, hazy, and breezy. But we'll talk more about what you can expect with a potential cool down next week coming up later in the hour.
See you soon, Allison. Straight ahead, the finalized unemployment numbers from 2021 are in. We'll break down county by county how Utah fared as we emerge from this pandemic.
It has been a little bittersweet and maybe a little bit of guilt mixed in with it, too.
A long-time downtown Salt Lake City business has left for Bluffdale. We'll explain why.
It is an ongoing complaint, a lack of bar licenses here in Utah. Utah's Department of Alcoholic Beverage Services declined to issue any bar licenses this month. Commissioners decided no bars were ready to open. Governor Spencer Cox and some commissioners have called for more bar licenses because of Utah's massive growth in hospitality demands. Senator Jerry Stevenson, who runs liquor bills for the Republican supermajority on Utah's Capitol Hill, tells Fox 13 News they will look at it.
A lot of growth going on and a lot of demand for people becoming more entrepreneurial after COVID. So I think it will always be a topic of discussion, and I think it probably needs to be looked at again.
But with that, Senator Stevenson isn't sure much will change. The legislature sets a made-up quota of one license per 10,200 people.
Utah's employment picture is one of the strongest in the nation, but new numbers from the state show some counties are struggling. Daggett, Garfield, and San Juan counties are in blue on this map because they have unemployment rates above 4%. Utah's rate is 2%, and the nation's is at 3.6%. When we expand the map to show all counties faring worse by 0.5% or more, it shows eastern and southern central Utah in a solid block of counties not doing as well as the rest of the state.
If your child were walking home from school in front of that house, how would that make anyone feel? Probably pretty angry.
Registered sex offenders are allowed to live next to a park or a school, but are they allowed to live together?
We understand it's complex and it can be challenging, so we're trying to balance both of those issues.
Tonight, Fox 13 investigates why the state is making exceptions for clusters of sex offenders.
It has been a little bittersweet and maybe a little bit of guilt mixed in.
A longtime downtown Salt Lake business is leaving the city for good. The persistent problem, they say, is no longer worth risking their customers' safety.
Jimmer Fredette is back on the court, and Zach Wilson is back at training camp. Later in Fox 13 Sports.
I make sure that my windows and doors are locked every single night.
14 sex offenders, all living under the same roof.
And there's kids walking around, and I don't like it.
The neighbors who used to live here moved because of it.
Tonight, a Fox 13 investigation reveals why the Utah Department of Corrections allows it to happen, making exceptions to its own rules.
These are reviewed by the agents, maybe multiple agents reviewing them.
Honestly, what the state is doing is it's setting these folks up for failure.
People using drugs, and a lot of them ain't running, so.
Fox 13 investigative reporter Adam Herbetz found sex offender clusters throughout Utah, raising the question, is the state doing enough to keep the public safe?
It took several months, but now neighbors say they've learned to stay away from the cute house with the pink butterfly on Catherine Street.
Before all this, this is the picture perfect neighborhood. I'm gonna live the rest of my life right here. I love Rose Park. That's why I'm doing this.
My mom hasn't allowed me to ride my bike around. I don't even want to personally, because I'm just scared that something will happen if they notice me riding my bike.
At one point, Utah's sex offender registry showed 14 of them, all living under the same roof in a single-family residence.
That guy I've seen for sure.
I've seen people walk out. I just don't look at them very much because I don't want to be around them. I don't want to be near them because it scares me.
Now the registry shows 8 sex offenders living there. Some have moved out, Some have been arrested. At least one is missing.
I remember we did look a little bit at that specific address. I'm not aware of any specific serious violations or such as an arrest that has occurred.
Dan Blanchard is the director of adult parole and probation. His agency manages the sex offender registry and supervises most offenders after they leave prison.
Do you know who this man is?
I don't.
His name is Kenneth Reyes. He was convicted of attempted rape. He's not there anymore, and we don't know where he is now.
Oh, wow. That's even more scary. Yeah.
According to AP&P, sex offenders on parole are not allowed to associate with other felons, which means they should not have 13 felon roommates unless they get permission from their parole agent for good behavior. In this case, AP&P made 14 individual exceptions.
We couldn't be here if they didn't.
We asked how often the state is making exceptions to its own rules.
It's case by case, and there are times when we decline those requests.
But as a supervisor, you have no way of knowing whether your agents are approving these in 90% of cases or 10% of cases.
We would need to look at the specific cases to see.
He says when sex offenders live together, sometimes it is unhealthy, but there are pros and cons.
I believe there is some benefit with people having some peer environment where others are helping to hold them accountable.
Well, I bet that if head guy of AP&P lived 3 doors down from that house, his opinion would likely change.
According to Dr. C.Y. Roby, the psychologist who developed Utah's sex offender rehabilitation program, the idea of letting them live together is frowned upon, but he understands the housing crisis makes things difficult.
If we're aware of areas that are felon-friendly, those may be kind of circulated among people.
Yeah, they should definitely be more careful because I don't think this should be allowed at all. It's dangerous, it's unnerving. People are moving away because of it. Yeah, it's scary.
We've never had an issue with AP&P. My issue has never been with them. Our issue has been with the city.
Allison Plant is the landlord. She says that the city has been fining her company for code violations.
Thousands and thousands. Do I think some of them are fair? Maybe a few of them.
Salt Lake City will not comment, other than to say it really doesn't matter whether they're sex offenders because this situation does not meet the definition of a single family in a single family residence.
I'm a family of 3, and sometimes our house seems a little tight. It's hard to house people with a felony, with a sex offense, but is this solving the problem or is this creating more problems?
To completely humiliate them that's not fair. I disagree with that. And I will fight for them and fight for this cause of what we do.
I can't be upset with them. I mean, yeah, if they've done their time, they deserve a place to be. This isn't the place.
The landlord tells me she's not allowed to accept any more tenants and that she is starting to move them because she feels like they're being targeted. But her business is not the only one of its kind, which means we found sex offender clusters throughout the state. If you'd like to see a list of them in your area, we have an interactive map on the front page of our website, fox13now.com. Reporting in studio, Adam Herbets, Fox 13 News, Utah.
If you have questions about tonight's investigation, Adam will be logging onto Facebook Live in a few minutes to answer as many questions as possible.
And if you have a story you would like the Fox 13 News investigative team to look into, send an email to iteam@fox13now.com or call the tip line. The number is 801-536-1314.
Coming up, we'll explain the new library policy for Utah schools and the reaction.
Plus, more than 500 speed limit signs are changing across Salt Lake City. We'll explain why. Welcome back, everyone. Salt Lake City kicked off its 20 is Plenty campaign today to lower residential speed limits. Over the next couple of weeks, the city will swap out 575 speed limit signs. Speed is being lowered from 25 to 20 miles an hour in many areas of the city after several deadly crashes involving pedestrians earlier this year.
It might take you a few seconds longer to get where you're going, but it will save lives. We know that the reduction, just 5 miles an hour of difference, makes a tremendous difference in fatality rates.
The City Council gave the green light for the project back in May in response to an outcry from the community group Sweet Streets SLC. So far in 2022, 18 people have been killed on Salt Lake roads.
Youth suicide is a crisis in Utah. Now a family dealing with it is trying to make sure no other family has to go through their pain of losing a loved one in this devastating way. Holden Binks was 16 years old when he took his own life on July 16th. His family is heartbroken and trying to pick up the pieces, but they want to create a legacy for Holden. So they're starting a memorial foundation in his name to connect people in need with the right education and resources. They say the idea has been well received so far.
It's not just something that parents are interested in trying to build. His friends are really excited about the opportunity to help create the foundation, do something, donate their time.
If you or someone you know needs help, call the Mental Health Crisis Hotline at 988 or find a list of resources on our website, fox13now.com.
The popular bridal shop Latter Day Bride has moved from downtown Salt Lake City to Bluffdale because of constant crime and issues with the homeless population near their old location. The owner of Latter Day Bride says things just got worse since 2016. Then in 2019, an employee was assaulted. And in 2021, a man who was running from police ran into the store and was acting aggressively to employees. All of this added up to making the tough decision to move to Bluffdale from Salt Lake City.
We had something happen, sometimes weekly, sometimes we'd get 3 months. It wasn't a matter of if it would happen again, it was when will it happen again.
The Bluffdale location had its grand opening today, and while the owner says it's bittersweet, she says it's worth it to make sure her employees are safe.
The State Board of Education is moving forward with a new policy to provide guidance to schools on how to review sensitive materials. This comes in response to the House Bill 374, which prohibits certain sensitive instructional materials in public schools. That bill passed earlier this year. The policy outlines a request, review, and appeal process. A review committee ultimately determines how long it takes to make a thorough decision, something the board says would take no longer than 60 school days.
I still feel like it is a first step to infringement on students' free speech rights, and it's one group speaking for everybody else.
What we hope is that the school districts will implement the best of the USB policy and that they will continue to create policies that allow parents to review materials, appeal materials, but most importantly, remove materials according to the law.
The Board of Education says every district and charter school should review and approve the policy by September 1st.
Still ahead, a homegrown contestant on So You Think You Can Dance fighting for her spot in the competition. Bob and I talk with her family about her progress on the hit reality show.
And later in sports, Zach Wilson addresses some offseason drama that, let's be honest, quarterbacks often find themselves in, while Jimmer Fredette chased $1 million tonight at the basketball tournament. Highlights from Dayton in a bit.
After facing elimination on last week's episode of Fox's So You Think You Can Dance, Utah performer Alexis War came back with something to prove tonight, Kel.
And we got the chance to sit down with Alexis's family as they gathered for a big watch party tonight. Here is what they said about watching her perform on the world's biggest stage.
How many people do you have there?
Probably about 50.
50?
50 people.
50 people. 50 people?
100 for the show.
You got Jake's family and Alexis's family.
I think this is awesome. How long have you guys been doing these watch parties, or is this the first time you've gotten together in this big group?
Yeah, we've been watching them every week. We're having these watch parties and hanging out as much as we can.
And she's made it far. We're getting down to the final wire here, right?
Yeah, top 6 and soon to be top 3. So we'll see. Hopefully she passes through.
Well, this must be some kind of a capstone showing up on So You Think You Can Dance. I mean, from the time she was so little and started to dance, did anybody have any idea that this is where she was going to wind up?
By the amount of time she said that she wanted to do this for her dream, it doesn't surprise me one bit that she's here today.
We were watching some of her clips. She is a beautiful
incredible.
dancer.
Incredible.
Does she know that her family and friends are getting together tonight to watch and support?
She knows.
She knows, and she knows that she has that wonderful support from family and friends every week. We're really proud of her.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Thank you so much for taking time with us, and we wish her the very best, and wish you guys the best as you wish her the best.
Yes.
Oh,
That was
great
fun.
family.
A lot of fun.
And an amazing show tonight.
Oh,
Alexis
yes.
was fantastic. She made it through. Do want to give a big shout out as well to Carter Williams from Sandy, Utah, who made it to the top 6.
Yeah.
He was eliminated tonight, but he is wonderful as well. So You Think You Can Dance airs Wednesday night from 8 to 9 right here on Fox 13, followed by Fox 13 News at 9. And good luck, Alexis, as you head in to the final 3.
You go, girl. Well, just into the Fox 13 newsroom, more than 6,900 customers in eastern Utah are without power right now. The regional power utility, Moon Lake Electric, says their wholesale power provider had what's called a switch catch fire outside of the Fort Duchesne substation. Replacing that switch is expected to take hours. The impacted customers live in Roosevelt, LaPointe, Neola, Bluebell, and Fort Duchesne, where the current average temperature is about 77 degrees. Allison.
It was a hot day here across the state and a hazy sunset. Here's what it looked like downtown Salt Lake City from Scott tonight. Thank you so much for sharing this picture in our Facebook group. Utah's Weather Authority, if you haven't joined yet, we would love to have you. Tracking some storms still just near Lake Powell up through Boulder, Escalante areas. A little bit of lightning. We had some heavy rain that moved through Kane and Washington counties earlier today. But what we're tracking for you through this evening will continue to be the possibility of some very isolated storms here across the state for the overnight hours. And then for tomorrow, again, triple digits in Salt Lake, upper 90s for Ogden, Provo 92 with partly cloudy sky. For eastern and southern Utah tomorrow, we're going to be tracking still warm temperatures, but not too bad. St. George 95, Richfield 87, Cedar 84. Then for eastern Utah, temperatures in Moab tomorrow 88, Price 85, and for Vernal upper 80s tomorrow. So hopefully the air conditioning gets fixed in the Uinta Basin because you've got another hot day ahead of you tomorrow afternoon. Plus, tomorrow we're still tracking that chance for some heavy rainfall, even up towards the Uinta Basin, speaking of Vernal, all the way through Price, Highway 6, as we look down into Blanding, so south of about the Needles District into Lake Powell, all the way over towards Kanab. That's our best chance for our heaviest rainfall for tomorrow. So that flash flood potential in our recreation areas is probable across the board. Temperatures in St. George, mid to upper 90s tomorrow, 97 on Friday, 97 on Saturday. We'll continue with warm temperatures to hot temperatures through your entire 7-day forecast, with a chance for rain Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, into next Tuesday. Here along the Wasatch Front tomorrow, breezy 100 degrees, 96 on Friday, 98 on Saturday in Salt Lake. That century mark again on Sunday. We're actually close to 100 every day through Monday. And then by next Tuesday and Wednesday, we'll see a little bit of a break. So for the next couple of days, air quality that we're tracking, orange, unhealthy for sensitive groups, plus our UV index for the next several days through the weekend will continue to be very high. Saturday 98, Sunday 100 degrees, Monday 98. Our chance for rain here in Salt Lake is fairly low over the next couple of days. We will see some isolated showers possible on Friday, but next chances for widely scattered storms Monday night, Tuesday, and Tuesday night next week. By next Tuesday, we're looking at 91 here in Salt Lake, and if you've been waiting for a cool down, our temperature outlook for days 8 to 14, so right after our 7-day forecast, we'll start to see a little bit of a cool down next Tuesday and Wednesday. Then the 4th of August through the 10th, that'll actually bring us to below average temperatures for much of Utah.
Nearly 6 weeks out from the start of the season, all 32 NFL squads have now broken open their respective training camps, and that includes the Jets. The Jets in a rebuild under former BYU and Corner Canyon quarterback Zach Wilson, who soon enters year number 2 in green. But Zach has been the center of some off-the-field gossip as well. The accusations first came from his former girlfriend, Abby Guile, that got the internet buzzing a little bit about some aspects of his personal life, all part of Wilson's new New York City soap opera, one Wilson had been mum about until he was asked about it this morning after practice number 1.
How's it kind of handled these last few weeks of all the social media stuff that you've had to deal with?
Right, it's just focusing on football, and that's really all I can do is, it is what it is, and it comes with the position. So really, it's just handling my business, handling what matters, and, keeping my family tight, and we're all good. And so I'm excited to be here and really just focus on football. And, I've never mentally felt like I was in a better spot than I am now.
Just when you think Jimmer Fredette's basketball career might be slowing down, it is revved back up, and not in China. This time it's stateside for the quote-unquote the basketball tournament, where he came into tonight's 6th, turning wide in scoring. Jimmer's the money team facing Red Scare in round 3 of the TBT. A little flashback to what we saw back in 2011 down in Provo. Puts an unfortunate soul through the rinse cycle, all part of a 12-2 run to start, and then craftiness not stopping there off the dribble. Jimmer will teardrop 2 more, only 10 points total for the kid from Glen Falls. Red Scare building a lead as high as 9 in the second half. Scoochie Smith and up to 9 again after V. Sanford uses that size advantage, but with a target score of 82, the money team money's all the way back. Corey Davis to lift money up 81-80. They still needed another point to win, though. Jimmer thinks he forces a turnover there, but they whistle him for the foul instead. So next bucket wins. Dump down low for Josh Cunningham, and there it was. Fredette and the Dayton Regionals top seed getting knocked out, also denied of that $1 million prize that goes to the tournament winner. Plenty of afternoon baseball Wednesday, including some interleague play over the mountain. The U's first All-Star ever, C.J. Cron, only his second RBI post-All-Star break, though blooping home Chris Bryant in the first. The Rockies with 3 in that opening frame. The White Sox reel off 5 straight. Jose Iglesias for the Chicago lead, only to watch the home team rally with a pair in the 9th. Bases full for Elias Diaz, who plays hero with nobody out. Brendan Rodgers beating the tag for a celebration at Coors Field. And the battle for the Big Apple at Citi Field, a couple of 60-plus win teams here. Start with some Mets. Pete Alonso takes the breaking ball for a ride. They call it a home run. Alonso's 26th of the season. The Yankees, though, could even things up real quick, and they do. Gleyber Torres clearing right side there. But it was the Mets getting it done in walk-off fashion to sweep the short 2-game set over the crosstown cousin Starling Marte into left. In trots Eduardo Escobar. The Pinstripes still have the best record in baseball. We're right back.
Thanks for watching Fox 13 News at 9.
Stick around. QuickCast is next.